everybody, how's it going? It's Douglas here at Drowned Boy Productions, and today we're going to be taking a look at more Scream masks and merchandise. So guys, like I said, today we're going to be taking a look at more Scream masks and merchandise. However, I guess really it's just going to be one mask and one piece of merch, and then something that's just really odd and doesn't really belong in my collection at all. Any of you ever find yourself in that situation where you're up late at night scrolling through eBay looking for different things, and you find something that's like kinda cool but also extremely ridiculous? You have no real interest in it, but it's super cheap starting bid, and you just place a bid as a joke and then you end up with the thing? Well, that's kind of what happened here. It's a really odd situation. So yeah, pretty much I was just up late one night looking through eBay through different screen used props and such, and I came across something that is a screen used mask, to a degree, I guess, maybe. I don't even fucking know. And really cheap price, 99-cent starting bid. So I, as a joke, say, haha, this is so ridiculous, I don't even want this, but wouldn't it be funny if I got this? Haha, and placed a $5 bid on it. No one else bid. No one. So I technically won this auction for $1 plus shipping, which shipping was like $5. So I think right around $6, maybe even a little bit under $6, I ended up with two screen-used masks from a non-horror film. And if you're wondering, Douglas, what are these wonderful screen-used masks? It must be pretty cool, even if it's not horror-related. Well, it's not, because ladies and gentlemen, I now own two pieces from the Jonas Brothers 3D Experience movie. Why? Why do I have this? Well, I'll tell you why. First of all, like I said, it was just as cheap as it was, and then also, the back of this one's signed by Nick Jonas. So yeah, I couldn't find any of these anywhere, but I'm pretty sure that this is Nick Jonas right here. I'm not a Jonas Brothers fan. I think I've maybe heard one of their songs the entire time that they've existed. I've never seen this movie. I have no reason to own this. This is dumb. But this is signed by Nick Jonas, and I know people who are fans of the Jonas Brothers, so I'll probably just end up, I don't know, maybe trading it to someone, giving it away. I don't fucking know, but don't bid on stupid shit late at night. Alright, now that we've got that embarrassment, pain, and misery out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look at the mask. Today's package, this one, comes to us from Chris Kotros, who's another huge Screaming Ghostface collector, and this guy has a fucking incredible collection. I'm pretty sure at this point he has achieved having one of each of every color of all the different ghosts from the 9206 run and the 9207 run. So not only has he assembled the full set of one of each color of all the original 9206 masks, you know, like what I used to have, all those beautiful pieces, but he also has the entire 9207 line as well, which includes like all the old Phantoms, the vampire masks, etc. All those other different oddball cotton shroud masks. And I guess it's not even enough just to say that he has that, because a majority of those he has multiples of. So, pretty fucking insane collection. Chris Kotros, if you guys don't follow him on Instagram, go check him out. And I think outside of that, he just has Facebook. That's how I met him, was through our Facebook forums. But let's get right into this. Oh, that is a beauty. So, I recently helped Chris obtain a piece that he had been looking for quite a while, and because of that, I convinced him to let go of this piece to me, and this is an odd one, guys. I don't think that I've actually owned a mask like this before, but to be honest, I'm not 100% sure. So what we have here, upon first sight, would look to be a Gen 2 mask. And this is, in fact, a cotton shroud. So this would be considered like part of the Fantastic Faces line for the most part. Looks like a Gen 2, right? Looks a little odd, misshapen, even overpainted or underpainted in some areas. Well, that's because this came from the HN mold. But this is not an HN stamped mask. I do believe that this mask, while coming from the same mold, actually does predate the HN, and here's why. There's not a lot of info about the HNs out there, but I have previously owned one, and mine was an HN stamp. Like I said, one of the main key factors is looking at the face. While it does appear to be a Gen 2, it always, almost always, is painted poorly. I don't know what it is about that factory, but the way they were painting masks back in the day, not the best. But that ended up making the masks themselves a little bit more unique than the other masks that were produced by other factories. Speaking of factories, that's also important. HN doesn't necessarily mean anything specific other than marking which factory specifically produced this run of masks. It's hard to say 100% for sure because I think they both started producing these masks around the same time, but I'm pretty sure the HN and the MK stamps, which would be like the RDS mask, and these HNs were the first of any alternate stamped Fun World masks. Now, knowing a little bit about how vintage masks were made and how molds were made and stuff back then, what I presume was done is that Fun World made a wax positive of the Gen 2 mold, like so, and then sent that wax positive off to the factory, the HN factory, who then made their mold. But before they made that mold, they carved right here at the bottom of where the shroud connects to the chin. It's something that I promise you guys I probably could not show you on camera. I'm going to be doing really good to be able to put something in that will represent this mark where you can really see it because it's just so faint. But right at the edge of the mask, they lightly carved an H. Just an H. Now this H is very important because that's how we know that this comes from the same exact mold as HNs. So I believe essentially what happened is they received this wax positive, they lightly carved that H in there for quality control, so that any masks produced that were sent out through the US or anywhere else, if there were any problems with the mold or any problems maybe with the paint or just any issues at all, they could go back and say, okay, where did this mask come from? We know that they carved the H on these specific ones, so let's look and see if there's an H. No H? Okay, it came from this factory. Oh, it has the H? That came from the HN factory. Well, later on, I guess just to make it a little bit easier for them to identify it, instead of just barely lightly carving it into the sculpture, they added it very prominently right above the Fun World div arc. So basically, same mask, same shroud, same everything except for the actual inclusion of the HN stamp, which was added later, I do believe. So that would make this mask a precursor to the HN stamp masks, because all HN stamps have the H carved into them, but not all of these with the H have the HN stamp. Now the H that's carved on the bottom of this chin is not just present on the Ghostface masks, but all of the other masks from the 9206 lineup that were produced by that factory have also been found with the H on it. So we know that this was something specifically added to, like I said, what I believe was the wax positives that they molded to signify quality control, or to at least signify which factory they came from. So there you guys have it. Pretty odd, not necessarily anything super important, doesn't really matter to any movie masks or anything, but if you end up with a cotton shroud Gen 2 looking mask, be sure to always check right by the bottom of the shroud to see if there's an H lightly carved. You never know, you might have one of these. Alright guys, and last but not least, here's the only real piece of merchandise we're going to be taking a look at today, and this is something that I don't really have any others of, so here is a Scream magazine, or Scream-related magazine. Technically, this is a Horror Hound magazine, but this one features a very, very prominent, several-page-long article on Scream, the creation of the mask, or how it came about. I believe that was written by Nate specifically, and I think also just an excerpt about Scream 4. So it's got basically a ton of information about Scream that was coming out at the time. Not only that, but it has one of the most beautiful magazine artworks I've ever seen. I really, really, really love the colors on this illustration, and I've really always wanted this magazine in particular. Now the reason I have this is because my good friend John Plonsky actually picked it up for me, so thank you, John. John picked up one of these for himself and was showing me some images of the article, and when he did, I realized, hey, that's that Scream Stalker insert card that I just got. Oh wait, that's that other mask that I also own. So amongst the article itself, there's actually tons of pictures of different Scream masks, merchandise, etc. And I do believe most, if not all of those photos came from Nate Reagan. A lot of those images are things that he owned at the time, or things that I guess friends may have owned that he had images of. Most of those were his though. And sure enough, used in this magazine that's been owned by millions of people, tons of fans that love this piece, is this exact Scream Stalker costume insert that I picked up from Nate recently in one of my unboxing videos. And a couple of pages later, you can see this exact spoof smiley mask. I bought these just with the intention of having them in the collection for what they were, but they're actually kind of somewhat famous, I guess, as they were featured in that magazine. So there you go. If you guys own that magazine, this is the exact mask and exact Scream Stalker insert that you can see on those pages. Outside of that, guys, I think that about does it for today's video. Yet again, a massive thank you to John Plonsky for sending me that magazine, and a massive thank you to Chris Kotros for hooking me up with that H stamp carved mask. And I don't want to give myself a shout out for buying the Jonas Brothers shit. That's just weird. Yep, that about does it for today's video. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. I love you all, and I'll see you next time.